Hey Libra, welcome back to another week of readings. The channel hit over 1,000 subscribers last weekend, and I wanted to give a huge thank you to all of you for your support in whichever way you've offered it. And I can't wait to keep growing the channel. I'm feeling very humbled by the experience. Second comment I have is that some comments have gone missing from the videos before I've had a chance to respond to them. So I don't know if that's intentional or if it's some sort of technical mishap, but in any event, just know that when people make comments, I do acknowledge them in some way, shape, or form. So if yours has gone missing or I haven't commented, then something's awry. So just a heads up with respect to that. Second of all, starting with Aquarius, I just did their reading. I'm going to actually use some different decks and kind of a different style than some of the other readings, just to see if it's well received. So always welcome to get feedback about that. It's more of an intuitive read for sure. While I still use imagery and a little bit of the traditional meanings, this is more of a channel read, so it can sometimes go a little bit slower as well, and that can sometimes mean they're a little bit longer. So let's just see how it goes. Aquarius's was actually pretty average in length. Yeah, but definitely a lot slower moving. So the first cards out are from Kim Cran's Animal Spirit deck. And this is going to kind of set the basis for the reading and talk about what's going on with you, what's going on in your life, how you're feeling right now, how you're coming across. So that's step one. And then we'll pull her tarot deck and see what messages come out from there. So the moth spirit. I'm just thinking of a moth that flew into my house 2 days ago, and he's still in here and he won't go. I turned off all the lights and I turned the porch light on to try to draw him out, and it just did not work. So perhaps there's something going on in your life right now where you're avoiding the light. I feel like kind of there's this energy here where there's darkness and you're starting to go towards it. So you might be coming out of the darkness and into the light is what this is saying. I feel like you potentially could be an earth sign. There's an earthiness about you. I think you're incredibly perceptive. You can see through the heart of matters. I think that you've got a very loving energy to you. You're starting to come into your personal power here. That's really shining through. You're very perceptive, and I'm going by like the feelers that I see here. There's this perception here where you almost have to, you might be very kinesthetic, like you're very sensory, like you need to feel your way through things is what I'm getting. And of course that's more intuitive. Or you might just find that your crown chakra is increasing in energy, like you're able to see things a little more clearly now or feel them a little more clearly. So you're coming out of something. Definitely. Through a period of, it's been a transformative healing situation. With the earthworm here, it's possible that you were through something that hurt you very deeply. Hurt you very, very deeply, and you've kind of mended yourself back together here. You've regrown parts of yourself that were injured. Getting more of that healing energy. I'm hearing also that you're coming full circle towards something. You've kind of felt the emotions that you've needed to feel. And you're coming out into the world again after spending some time in that, some emotional healing of some sort here. You're not taking this is taking you some time, because I'm getting that this hasn't been a direct route for you. There's been a little bit of a detour here to do this, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I think the biggest message out of here is coming out coming out into the open again. And I'm getting that in both of these cards, okay? So let's see. I can't remember if I shuffled these before, so I'm just going to do a quick shuffle now. Whoops. One more. All right. What does Libra need to hear today? What can we show Libra? Daughter of Wands. Yeah, there's more. That's interesting. Ace of Cups. I'm going to take them because they flipped out. With the Hermit on the bottom there, this is similar to Libra. It's almost like this was the Hermit mode down here and in here and out you come sort of thing. With the Daughter of Swords, or sorry, Daughter of Wands coming out, again, it's almost like there's been a detour. This has taken a bit of time, but you're coming out of this. Again, when I see snakes, we talked about this in Aquarius as well. Snakes are to me all about new journeys, transformations, shedding the old so that the new can be born. Almost like the Death card, quite honestly. Letting go of the parts of you that no longer serve you. Hearing you've been wrapped up in something. The number 8 could be significant to you, or the infinity sign. Whatever it is that you're learning through this, it was learned while you were kind of in this darkness, in this transformative period. It could relate to issues of the first chakra, that root chakra. There's a sense here of rediscovering the beauty of yourself. So it's almost like this idea that you've grown, you've become more self-confident. You've really, again, just embracing the most beautiful aspects of yourself that you may not have noticed before. I think one thing that's come up a lot today in the readings is this balancing the light and shadow sides. So I'm hearing for some of you that don't understand what that means. If I could put it in the simplest of terms, it would be positive emotions versus negative emotions. Let's start there. I mean, again, this is super basic, and you can Google to learn more. But essentially, it's recognizing that even the darker parts of ourselves that we don't like to acknowledge, or more negative feelings, that sort of thing, they serve to teach us something. We learn from them. Okay, it's not about just being happy all the time, and if you're not in that happy zone, then life sucks. It's balancing between the two, and it's true. Without light, we can't have darkness, and vice versa. So it's learning to be comfortable in that darkness, and in that darkness, learning about yourself, finding out more about yourself, and coming out of that to discover the beauty that comes from your pain, the things that you've experienced that might be rather dark. With Ace of Cups here, I feel like this is more about self-love. I feel like you have a lot to give to others now. Again, why do I feel like this is a journey of the self sort of thing? where again, you went inwards and you worked on yourself and you're healing old wounds, old patterns. And by doing this, by working on yourself, by investing in yourself, by exploring pieces of yourself, you're now able to not only fill your own cup, but offer that towards other folks as well. There's a heavy emphasis on communication here, on that fifth chakra, but it's not communicating necessarily, but it's allowing your voice to be heard, trusting your voice, trusting what you create. But again, this really, to me, speaks more of self-love. By going through this journey, you're filling your own cup. You're not waiting on someone else to fill it. You're not waiting to receive it from somebody else. I don't know if you thought very much of yourself before. Like I said, I'm really being drawn back to the confidence factor in here, realizing your strength and what you have to offer. And I talked about in Aquarius, you've got nothing to fear but fear itself, potentially. That might be for a few of you, but I'm not getting that as a huge overtone. With the Four of Pentacles showing up here, to me, this is all about flexibility. This is about flexibility, being willing to examine yourself, aspects of the world. It's all about connecting the dots. It's all about this aha moment. Again, with working on this self, you're able to go within and you're able to see how thoughts, behaviors, and actions are all interconnected. You know, we talk about that in cognitive behavioral therapy. Let me try to give you an example. It could start out with an action. So somebody doesn't call you. You're expecting them to call and they don't call you. So your immediate reaction is to think, nobody likes me, or that person's mad at me about something. They must be mad at me about something. And then the behavior is to isolate yourself, to protect yourself so that people can't hurt you because you're feeling rejected, right? And then that just drives that isolation tendency and that feeling of aloneness. When in fact, if you look at it, how can you assume that that person didn't want to hang out with you? Maybe they got in an accident. Maybe they forgot because they're a bit scattered and something terrible has happened in their day. You know, there's a million things, but, you know, the mind automatically jumps there. And so through that process of kind of unraveling that, we can begin to understand how things are connected in our life and why things happen or why we think the way we do. Why do we react the way that we do as well? Okay. What else can we tell Aquarius? What else is going on for Aquarius here? Not Aquarius, Libra. Good gravy. I'm also getting as well, like we're all connected. That might have been a source of inspiration for you to discover that we're all connected. There's a piece that comes with that. To understand that universally, we're all breathing the same air. We're sharing the same waters, bodies of water, right? Just as examples. Got the Eight of Cups here and the Death card. I feel like this is talking about what precipitated all of this with the Ten of Cups on the bottom. Your world fell apart at some point here, emotionally. Whether somebody that you loved hurt you or you lost somebody to, this can also signify that. There was a walking away of some sort. So it could have been, losing a person and you're mourning that. Whether that's someone walking away from you in a relationship, or whether this is just going through a really difficult time and falling apart emotionally. Sometimes we almost need to fall apart and hit rock bottom before real change is affected. And not always, but that is, sometimes I can think of my own personal experience is I was so stubborn and not wanting to face things that the universe almost had to create an absolute hurricane in my life where I couldn't hang on to everything anymore. I couldn't juggle all the balls in the air anymore. It was just impossible, right? Because I wouldn't slow down. I wouldn't stop to look at what needed to be looked at and dealt with and that sort of thing. This is the kind of energy here that I get from the Eight of Cups, where everything, it has to be so high. The mountain has to literally come down on you. You have to be enveloped in almost complete and utter darkness before transformation can occur. And death is all about, this is almost like the phoenix rising from the ashes is what this card reminds me of, because it's something where you have to be picked apart bare to realize that something needs to change. This can also mean the experience of having to let go of everything, to let go of what you thought you knew, to let go of that what's no longer serving you, so that better things can come, which is what we've seen up here. So this speaks more to the past, about what got you to this point here. Okay. Yeah, I'm just hearing like you were picked clean. I don't know if your energy tanked, if you just had nothing left to give, and it took until that point for you to make a change in your life and to invest in yourself, which I always say is the best investment you'll ever make, because that's when you can affect true change. You can't help people, heal people, if that's what you're into, if you can't even give enough to yourself. That's the ultimate in respect, is being able to give love to yourself and respect to yourself above anybody else first. Otherwise it's just you're totally letting yourself go. I was going to say something. I can't remember what it is now. I had a dream one night and I had given a friend a gift, and what it was a stick, and I wrote something on it. And it was something to the effect of, courage is the ultimate act of self-love. The ultimate. And it's almost like to get to this point and then to spend the time investing in yourself, to figuring out why things work the way they do or don't, the courage to do that is the ultimate act of self-love. Life-changing. The Nine of Wands, this is such a harried emotion. I feel like this is more of the energy that you're in. It's almost like so many things going on at once. With the Nine of Swords, it's like overwhelm. It's absolute overwhelm until you finally reach the breaking point. It's like it had to happen that way in order for change to happen for you. It's like the universe had to shake your world apart entirely before you were going to change. It's like at that point, you didn't have a choice. Like, well, I guess there's always a choice. You could have laid in bed and never come out again sort of thing and given up on life. But that's not what you chose. Yeah, it's getting to the root. It's getting to the heart of the matter. It's really getting down to where you come from. What ideas, what were you taught as a child growing up? How were you treated? Who were you surrounded by? What sort of beliefs and thought patterns were you surrounded by? And if you get to the heart of this and explore this and understand this, then it can create a solid foundation for you to grow on. Six of Cups, going back to the past. I feel like you've already done this. If you haven't already, this is what potentially could come. The Emperor, standing in your power. This card is very much one of standing in your power, being the boss of your own life, burning bright, but not to the point that it's destructive, to the point that people notice it. This firm foundation here, and not letting your emotions sway you all over the place. Standing in your power is also what I'm hearing. So we have the Five of Swords, the Six of Wands, the Daughter of Swords, and the Two of Swords. Interesting. With the Six of Wands on the bottom, again, transformative change coming from a dark period or a period of pain and strife, struggle. There it is. Remember in the beginning when I spoke about being torn apart by something hurting you very deeply, and you'd mended yourself back together. So again, this is a precipitant here. See, the Six of Wands serves as a reminder that sorry, I'm getting distracted by the traditional meaning because Six of Wands is one of victory, right? But that's not what I'm getting off of this card. It's almost like through this process of putting yourself back together again, this has led to a lightening of this darkness here where you can speak your truth. The Daughter of Swords in this deck is all about speaking your truth, being comfortable in it. There's a quiet confidence about this for sure. Like it's like a knowing. It's like you can see things very clearly. And it's almost like cutting through all the extra stuff to get to the heart of the matter. It's become easier for you. And then you gain these insights, you gain this ability through going through this dark period and healing through that dark period. Again, light and shadow, right? This is reminding us that even in our shadow period, our shadow sides, we still have a lot to learn from that. There's growth that can come from that, from sitting in that. I'm sure at times it felt like the wire's edge I'm hearing. But there's no fear here. It's interesting. The energy is very similar in this Two of Swords as it is in this Emperor energy. But again, it's almost like honing in on your power with this Daughter of Swords here, honing in on your personal strength, your personal power. And highlighting that, appreciating that. I'm hearing that again. Someone else, I heard this, two paths diverged in the woods. I'm feeling like whatever this experience that happened that brought you here, it allowed you to be able to focus on personal power. So we get to be talking about third chakra energy here as well. Okay. Let's see what, I definitely shuffled those. I remember shuffling those before. Let's see what messages we have. This is the Mystical Shaman Oracle. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous deck. Again, an intuitive read from this, channeling. So you can see how you've come through the darkness into the light here, right? And what advice can we offer Libra, please? Yes, we have the Gatherer, the Heart of the Sky, and Soul Retrieval. Holy cow. Heart of the Sky. Okay, so with the Gatherer, this one's a doozy, but let's start with the Gatherer. The first feeling and the first hit I got off of this card was all about you gathering everything that you needed to heal yourself and come to this place of self-love. You might have blue eyes, or people could get the feeling like when you look at them that you're staring right through to their soul. I'm really getting that energy off of this here. I feel like this is a healed part of yourself, honestly. 21 breaks down into 3, which is the number of communication and clarity, creativity. I'm wondering if you might come into your full power around October. This ring is really drawing me in. I don't know if you've got a ring that you wear on your left hand. It's got like a beautiful stone in the middle of it, but it's really drawing my attention. I'm getting that you might be working with others or might work with others because there's pain coming. It's almost like through your pain, through your experiences, you're able to help others in the sense that you're able to understand them. You're able to get on their level sort of thing and really feel that and help heal that. I don't know if you're actually involved in shamanic practices maybe, because I'm getting that, especially with soul retrieval, that's pretty intense. So I don't know if you've been through that sort of thing or if you're really interested in it or if that's something that you want to do. But your talent lies in the sense that you can relate to people's pain and they know that. They sense that you understand, legit understand. It's not just hollow words. They can see that you truly do get it. And it's not like they know it necessarily consciously, but subconsciously they can feel that energy. They feel safe. It's that sincerity and genuine energy that comes across when you're listening to others that really helps them, and it makes them not feel so alone in the world. If you did this before, the difference now will be that you don't get drained from it. I don't know if there's something that you do at night. There's another side of yourself that people don't know about. Something relating to the moon. Feels almost ceremonial to an extent. But this part doesn't feel like really public. This feels like something that you keep to yourself. Might be something that others would consider dark or, but it's not. It's beautiful. And it's incredibly powerful. I feel like this journey through the darkness that you've come to this soul retrieval. So in shamanic terms, so Force 49 breaks down into what? 13 to 4, okay? In shamanic terms, when we're doing soul retrievals, it's this idea that somewhere along in a past life, there is something that injured you so badly, something that occurred that you actually lost a piece of yourself. And the soul retrieval, and this is like super basic term, folks, like super duper basic. I'm not a shamanic practitioner. by all means. But it's this, the soul retrieval is going back and retrieving that part of yourself that you lost, so that you can come together now in this lifetime to repair that injury and that wound, so that you can carry forward and answer your life's call. And so you can see it's this cocoon here. It's again, this transformative period where you go within and out comes the butterfly sort of thing. It's an incredibly transformative experience, I'm also hearing. You may have gone through and worked with a shamanic practitioner or something where you had this transformative experience that helped you get here. I feel like there's somebody that's done some type of journey, alternative healing or methods, that sort of thing, that's helped you get to this point. I don't think you've done this all by yourself. It would be really hard to do all by yourself, quite honestly. Not to say it can't be done, but it would make it more difficult for sure. Because like I said, through this, you're standing in your own power. You've become whole. You're not looking for someone to fill your cup and make you whole. You are whole. You've become whole again. And the journey's never over. I mean, we're always evolving and healing and that sort of thing. But this is significant. And I suspect it's significant in work or volunteering or what it is that you want to do, your life path, your life purpose. You might have a life path number 3, for sure. Okay, Libra, I'm going to leave that there. Beautiful reading. If you've enjoyed the reading, please be sure to hit the like button. If you're comfortable, always awesome to read the comments. I wish you all the best and talk to you next time. Bye for now.